No chance for me to win. I couldn't even get up for like 10 minutes, nor could I breathe, but I was a fighter and I didn't quit that easy. Oh my god, heavens above. Hey guys, Faiiks here, and today it's a very special video that I'm really excited to do. We're taking another trip down the lane, but this video I want to talk about some times that I was unlucky or unfortunate enough to never experience in my life, and it makes me feel I wasn't born at the right time, the 90s. I was born in 2001, so I missed a whole decade, and there's so much about the 90s that it makes it look dope to me. It seems like it was one of the coolest, the wildest, also the weirdest time to be alive. But without further ado, let me tell you about the things I love and hate about the 90s. And also this time I'm prepared for a movie. Let's go. Love the WWE. I gotta kick it off with the WWE and the Attitude Era. Back when I was 5 or 6 years old, a friend of mine introduced me to a game called WWF Raw PC. It was made in 2002. If you look at it now, the graphics, the movement of the wrestlers, it won't grab you. But back then, this game was a pivotal point for me because it introduced me to a whole new world. This was when WWE wasn't just some show, it was a whole cultural event, and this event made millions of people tune in every week to watch legendary superstars to pull out outstanding promos and wrestling matches. The list of legends is so long, can't even imagine. Legends who were fortunate enough to hold this belt with them. Wrestlers like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Jeff and Matt Hardy, Triple H, Edge, Chris Jericho, Kane, Bret Hart. I'm sorry guys, I can't do it anymore. The list is just so goddamn long. I cannot put everybody here. But back then the superstars put it to a whole new level. Plus the storylines, from what I've seen, they were so outrageous you couldn't help it. You got sucked in. Can you imagine being in an arena of 19,000 people just losing their shit when they hear Stone Cold's glass shatter? Peak entertainment. An entertainment I would love to be around to see. Plus the merch back then, it was iconic. I had so many action figures growing up. I remember the first one my parents got me was The Undertaker, and I still remember when my parents got me Jeff Hardy, the man who made me love wrestling. When my parents bought it to me, I made sure that this guy wins everything from my thought at the moment storylines. I even had 3 WWE rings to go with my action figures, one of which my parents actually bought from Greece. Those action figures went to so many hardcore matches on my bedroom floor. It was like my own mini Attitude Era at home. But it didn't stop with action figures. I used to make my own WWE belts from wherever I could find in the house. Paper, tape, cardboard, even I remember colored sheets. And those belts, they made me feel like I was in full-on match mode when I was facing my pillows. I remember that my parents actually surprised me with the real deal ones, a replica of the iconic spinner belt, which unfortunately didn't survive that much long. But years later, I got the Intercontinental title from 2008, and I felt like a champ walking around with those, and I wore them with pride. One thing I remember when I started school is that I hooked up all of my classmates to WWE. I remember that every recess we were wrestling in the back of the classroom. We had this like huge old carpet in the back just laying there, so we used it as our ring. Plus the guy who introduced me to WWE, we made a ring in his backyard. Me, him, and his cousin. Again, with the huge ass carpet, 4 sticks for every corner, and string. I remember when I was 10 years old, at the same ring, I was wrestling one guy, and he was twice my size. Like, no chance for me to win. But I was a fighter, and I didn't quit that easy. I remember the motherfucker grabbed me by the neck, and he gave me the hardest, most devastating choke slam I have ever got in my life. I couldn't even get up for like 10 minutes, nor could I breathe. And after this happened, I remember he was like, "Oh, sorry. I didn't know I had that in me." He got on a scooter and he left, while my ass was laying there in agony. And you know what I did? I counted him out because I never wanted to lose. Honestly, between my matches, my homemade belts, the replicas, the 90s were hands down the best time to be a wrestling fan. WWE merch and memories like these, absolutely priceless. They don't make stars like this anymore. Love. Women. Now let's talk about the ladies. In the 90s there was this big trend for that skinny, minimalistic look, and the vibe is so different from what we see today. This era didn't have just attractive women, it had icons. You had Dennis Richards with those intense eyes and full lips, Jamie Presley with that fierce attitude, Sharon Stone and her piercing glaze that can cut glass, and even Cameron Diaz with her wild free energy. Don't ask me why I picked out blonde women, it was an accident. I guess Hollywood had a thing for blondes, but not only Hollywood had attractive women, the WWE had as well, with their divas. Trish Stratus, Lita, yay, our first brunette, Tori Wilsons. These women had this blend of confidence which you don't see that much these days. Honestly, watching them back then would have you feeling like you're a dog on heat, barely keeping it together. They'll flash the look, crack a smile, or even do their thing on the television, and suddenly you're melting on the couch, howling at the TV. Yeah, let's just say the 90s had me feeling some type of way. Love, the music. And then there was the music. The 90s hit you with this raw, unapologetic wave of sound, especially in rock and metal, which defined this era's rebellion. You had Nirvana coming in with their grunge sound and Smells Like Teen Spirit bumping out in every house, even every room or car stereo. It was like an anthem. And Limp Bizkit's wild mix of rap and rock, I don't think anybody did that quite like that before. Every time you hear Nookie or break stuff, it feels like a battle cry before you start breaking the rules yourself. Also bands like Disturbed, Kid Rock, who took that energy and cranked it even higher. Not just because the loud guitars and heavy drums. It was like they were yelling out everything they wanted to say in every track they made. Down with the Sickness by Disturbed, Bow with the Paw by Kid Rock. Just the lyrics, the sound, it sounds like you're free, and I feel like it caught out everyone who thought they didn't fit in the mainstream. And even the concerts, bruh. If you walk into a concert or festival, it's like you enter the mosh pit. Sorry, I meant super duper friendly community of people who are there to scream, shout, and just don't give a fuck what you think. For me, there's still something about the 90s music, 90s rock and metal that still grabs you today. You can play one of the 90s tracks, classical tracks now, and you see it still makes you feel that fire, that we're here to fuck things up vibe. It wasn't just a genre, it was a movement. Love, 90s football. If there was one sport that was epic in the 90s, it's gotta be football or soccer for my North American friends. There were so many wizards on the field like Zidane, Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo I'm talking about, and Stoichkov. This was when football was not about the business aspect of it, about the money, the millions. It was about the passion, the grit, the creativity. It was like an art. Every game had its magic. You were not just watching teams, you were watching icons, legends, heroes. Everything these guys did back in the day, every move, it had a personality. They had something to prove. Watching Stoichkov play, Ronaldo play, they were like wizards and warriors on the field. Stoichkov played every match with fierce and raw passion. Not only him, in Bulgaria we didn't have only Stoichkov, we had many talented players that were playing in top football countries. I'm honestly so mad that I never got the chance to experience Bulgaria in the World Cup of 1994. That was our golden era our golden boys who took over the world and put Bulgaria on the map. But man, if you know, you know the infamous semi-final against Italy, where our dreams were crushed out by this stupid ass French referee. 2 penalties. 2. One of the most obvious handballs I have ever seen in my life. And the other one of this horrendous tackle in the final minutes of the game. But instead of giving us what was fair, he decided to be a jolas and let Italy skate through. The frustration is unreal. It's like we got robbed of our shot at the finals. It wasn't just a loss, it was like to see all the hard work those Bulgarian players put just get thrown out the window by this bitter Frenchie, which we single-handedly took out the French national team in the qualifications in 1993 in the last match at the last second of the game. I honestly think this World Cup is courtesy of Bulgaria. I don't care what you guys say. Brazil wouldn't stand a chance against this team. This team, hung over from last night, beat the 1990s champions Germany. Those were legendary times to be alive. Every time I hear about the World Cup of 1994, I get that feeling of pride and rage at the same time over just what could have been. Love. Movies and animations. The movies of the 90s? Chef's kiss. Comedies like Dumb and Dumber and Friday are classics for a reason. They were funny in a way that is still funny now, which you cannot say for every decade. And American Pie, oh my god, the father of all teen comedies. Then you had the darker movies that were more intense, like Seven, Basic Instinct, The Man in the Iron Mask. Gritty, suspenseful, and packed with real storytelling depth. These movies kept you hooked from start to finish. And even the twists that made you just sit back and be like, whoa. Even the animated movies were like top league level. I mean, Lion King, Toy Story, Tarzan, masterpieces. Not only they were fun for kids, but they had cool themes and just lessons that still resonate to this day. That's for the 90s movies. They had it all and they did it right. Love. Fashion. I've gotta hand it to the 90s fashion. From the oversized flannels to the classic denim jackets and windbreakers. It was all about looking cool without even trying. Everybody was rocking band tees, high tops, and Timberlands. The layering, it was on point too. Hoodies under jean jackets, crop tops with flannels tied around the waist, and those thick chunky sneakers that everyone is into again. Let's not forget the little things like slap bracelet, chokers, and the chains hanging on the side of the jeans that were either ripped, distressed, or way too big. It's funny because the style is making a huge comeback now, with the brands dropping 90s inspired lines, and it's easy to see why. It's a timeless and effortless mix of rebellion and comfort that just works every time. The 90s made it good to dress down while looking iconic at the same time, and this vibe I think is here to stay. Hate. Fashion mishaps. While the 90s fashion was good and all, it had some disasters. I'm talking about my nightmare, the baggy jeans. The only thing I never liked was the baggy jeans. Just no. You look like you could fall any step you take. Plus, they're not breathable at all. If you're wearing a band tee and baggy jeans in the summer, you'll be sweating like crazy. With today, we have clothes that breathe, stretch, and even absorb the sweat. But back then, it was cotton, denim, and discomfort. Hate. Maps. Physical maps. I can't imagine life without GPS. Now every phone has a navigation, not the best, but still 100% better than physical maps. In the 90s, if you didn't know where something was, you had to unfold this big paper map and just try to figure it out. Imagine how the family trips were. Pure nightmare. No Google Maps, no quick reroute if you got lost. Just you driving with a big ass paper, covering half your sight, just trying to figure out how to get to Washington because you promised your kids to take them to the zoo in Seattle, and those maps never folded back the same way. I'll probably be lost in every corner just asking strangers for directions. Just no thanks. Hate renting movies. Another thing I hate, renting movies. Picture this, if you wanted to watch a movie, you had to physically go to the store and just hope they have it, and if they have it in stock, you just bring it home for a few days, and if you didn't return it, there will be fees that would add up. It was brutal. In Bulgaria, as a third world country, had our workaround. Pirated movies were everywhere, and you could get a whole movie burnt onto a disc for cheap. I had 2 full bags under my computer who were just full of discs that had everything on them. Some like even had up to 4 movies in just one disc. So yeah, who's gonna pay late fees when you just can pop it up in your own disc? Not me. Hate people's attitude. The last but not least thing on my list. Not everything about the 90s was golden. The worst of everything I listed, I think it's that. The whole, how can I explain it? Tough guy attitude, it was next level of intense. To be the man, you had to prove that you're the strongest, that you can beat everyone, that nobody is better than you, that nobody has the right to be happy if you're not happy, which led to many fights, stabbings, and even murders over just any little thing. People would just straight up throw hands and even kill, don't matter if you're man, woman, or even some poor kid who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you were quiet or a nerd, you might as well had a target on your back. It's like everybody had a mission to prove something, and I don't even know from where this thing came from. Maybe it was action movies, the rise of the new wave music, which I spoke about earlier, including gangster rap, or even just the nonsense parroting style people had back then. Feels like everybody who wanted to be cool had to throw it down. These days, I would say most things are different, because being tech savvy or book smart can turn you into a millionaire, but back then that could get you beat up, scar you for life, or even permanently damage you. I mean, sure, everybody wants respect, but when the way is to earn it through brute force, that's not my style. Violence isn't the solution for everything. Sure, I'm a rapper, and yeah, I say some pretty intense, maybe even violent stuff in my music, but that's art. It's storytelling. It's just a way to express raw emotions without even hurting anyone. I've got artistic classes for that. It's like watching an action movie. All these things happening, all these crazy things happening on screen. It's not supposed to encourage people to go out and do it in real life. And I said most things are different because this tough guy attitude, you still see it today. Look at this situation in a reality show from my country, where a 40-year-old, 6 foot, fully tatted, 280 pounds guy, literally built like a tank, slapped a scrawny 17-year-old boy across the face just for speaking up his mind. And get this, the 17-year-old is the stepson of the guy's producer who made him famous. Huge paradox. That kid just turned 18 and plans to press charges, which is completely justified, but the guy's argument was this one: a real man wouldn't get a lawyer, but will just take the beating. That's just wrong. The truth is, power doesn't come just from brute force, and words go further than a punch ever could. Building something real, just inspiring people and being yourself, this for me takes more courage than picking up a fight just to prove a point. Even as someone who appreciates the power and edge in words, it sure has its cons, but it's not the same just as taking someone's life because he looked at you the way you didn't like. We almost know that the real strength And respect is not forcing the other people to give it to you. We're not in the mafia days anymore for all of the wannabe gangsters who was watching this video. So those are my love and hate takes on the 90s. Sure, I wasn't there, but from the sounds of it, it was awesome. They had the coolest music, the wildest wrestling, but they also have things that I wouldn't trade today for anything. I wanna hear if you guys have some memories for the 90s that you love or hate. You can drop them in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Keep it real and let's keep the 90s nostalgia alive. Make Harvey there for life.